Hi everyone, this is Jason.
And I'm Lorraine.
And this is the Sow the Land podcast. And in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about...
How did we downsize?
Yeah.
How did we get rid of all of our stuff?
Yeah, just kind of how did we live, how are we living minimally? Right?
Right, because that's a question I think a lot of people have is how did you move, and get rid of a lot of your belongings and move into a tinier house. So we're going to be talking about that today in this episode in our podcast. But first, let's talk about what we've been up to for the week.
Yeah, so this week we had family over. Lorraine's parents were over.
My parents are here, right. And we're so thankful to have them here and to have their help around the homestead. And they're so happy to help too. And just, spend time with Penelope and to spend time with us as well. So it's wonderful to have them here.
Yeah, I think it's been about, a few months since we last seen them.
When did we see them last?
Well, we were out in California in...
That's right, it's been a few months. So
November?
We were,
around there?
No, it was September.
Okay, September.
For Baker Creek.
But they haven't been out here for...
They both together have not been out here since the year we moved.
Yeah, so that's almost 4 years now.
Right. We moved out here in 2016 and they came just a few months afterwards just to kind of see where we moved to. And then they haven't really been back since. And so we've done a lot to our property, our homestead. And so I'm pretty sure they were all surprised to see all of the improvements and the growth that we've done here.
Because nothing was here. Not even a garden was here when they were here.
Like they helped.
We were only here like a couple months maybe, and then they came over. But yeah, it's nice to have them over and just kind of a second pair of hands and just kind of help us out doing little projects and try to complete projects, winter projects. So it's pretty nice. Yeah,
it's great. And you are finished with the pig port.
Yes, well, yeah, just about. I mean, I'm pretty much done with it.
So if you've been following along on our YouTube channel, for those of you who are listening just strictly on the podcast, on our YouTube channel, Jason has been building a pig shelter. We're calling it the pig port.
Yeah, it's really a greenhouse / pig shelter / it's like a compost corner that I want to turn it into with the pigs. And I've been working on that pretty much since, I don't know, the fall time. And we're going to be getting a couple pigs soon. So I wanted to get that buttoned up and get it done. And now that your dad's here to help me out with that, we were able to pretty much complete it. So, and I'm filming it at the same time. So stay tuned for more video and footage of that build.
I've just been busy cooking and kind of just enjoying my parents, really. It's after the holidays. We're just kind of getting over that. I mean, we've had a really nice quiet Christmas here.
Yeah.
With just us three. And it was really nice to not have to go anywhere and hustle and bustle in traffic or anything like that. And that was nice.
Right. And it's just, I guess, getting back into the routine after the holidays. You know how it is. Just getting back to it and just getting ready for spring, really.
Right. Yeah. And you've been busy making more products for our store. We have a store downtown Asheville, North Carolina, and we have our products there in that store. And you've been busy making more product there.
Yeah, I mean, things are good there.
Yeah.
We've had that store for over a year now, and things are looking good in that store. We get a lot of people who subscribe to our YouTube channel come through town, and
it's a great meeting point.
Yeah, just kind of hang out there, and we meet a lot of people that follow us on YouTube at our shop at Space, and so it's pretty nice to have.
Yeah, it's almost like we can't keep up.
No, we can't, but we're trying. We're trying to update it more and more every single day.
Right. And another thing that we have been working on is cleaning out our office. We have an office space or a bedroom that we use as an office, and it's gotten cluttered, and we have a really hard time keeping it just very minimal and tidy because it is a multi-purpose room. It is like we don't really have a garage here on the
We
homestead.
don't have a garage.
So it's like a garage. It's the shipping and packing room for all of the things that we sell on our website.
Yeah.
It's the homeschool storage room where we put all of our homeschool books when we're not using them. And it's also your editing room sometimes.
Yep, it's editing, filming. We keep all our
filming equipment in there.
Our computers in there. And
so it's pretty crowded in there. I mean, it's the only space we have. So it's the new year, and we're starting to go through our things. And I don't know, maybe it's early spring cleaning, but we're starting to go through our things and
almost reassessing of the stuff that we have in there and figuring out like how can we improve on this space, because it really does need improvement. A little bit more organization. Do we need to get rid of stuff? Like what stuff have we held on to that we don't really need anymore or we haven't used? And so we've been trying to work through that these last couple weeks and trying to get that space organized.
Yeah, which leads us into our topic. How did we downsize? And like I said earlier, a lot of people ask us that question because they struggle with that. And that's something that I think every family struggles with, is like, how do you downsize? How do you make the call of getting rid of things that you're not sure if you're going to need it, or I don't know, what am I trying to say? It's just, how do you
get rid of it?
How do you get rid of it?
How do you get rid of stuff? Like, it's so easy to accumulate stuff.
Yes.
So how do you get to a point where you're like, oh, I just don't need this stuff. I want to get rid of it. But what stuff do I get rid of?
And I think the first thing, and the only thing we can do, is just share how we did it.
Yes.
Okay, so just to give you, before we start though, I do want to give you a backstory for those of you who are just new to our channel, or you just stumbled across this podcast. Is we used to live in Southern California, in the city, maybe suburbia, and we had a large 3-bedroom house with a separate office, so maybe 4 bedrooms, you could say, and 2 living rooms and a nice large size kitchen with plenty of storage space in the kitchen. And it was just a large home.
I think it was about 2,000 square feet.
It was a larger home than what we have now. Almost double the size that we have now. And we had every room filled with things.
We had a living room. We had a TV room.
Yeah.
We had a dining room.
Yeah.
And we probably only used 2 of those rooms.
Yeah.
It was more of like a sitting room, I guess.
Yeah. It was a formal living room, that I think we should call it.
And each room had its own furniture, had its own couches, had its own lamps and tables and coffee tables and chairs.
And picture frames on the walls.
Yeah.
And so what we moved to now, we decided we were going to be a homesteading family, and we were going to move across the country to North Carolina, where we're at now. And we have a much, much smaller home. We actually live in a mobile home, and it's half the size, maybe a little bit smaller than half the size.
It's about 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
It's a single wide mobile home.
And we don't have a garage. We had a garage in our other place and we also had like a shed, and we had plenty of space to sprawl out. So now we have no garage, and we're about less than half the size that we were in California. So we had to downsize a lot. We had to get rid of a lot of our possessions in order to make this transformation, or to make this new move into homesteading. So
I think it was this idea of we wanted to homestead and buy a little bit of land and live off the land and maybe farm. Still at that point, living in California, we really didn't know what it was going to look like, how our life was going to look like, but we knew we wanted these certain things, and we had these certain values that we had for our family and the way we wanted to live. And so I think that drove us to live more minimally. We were always collectors of things.
Yes.
I think.
We were always collectors of things. Like, I think since the day we met each other
Yes.
We were always collectors. Like before we got married, we were even collectors of antiques and vintage.
We love going to flea markets.
Oh, yeah.
We love going to yard sales.
Yes.
Going to thrift stores.
Oh, yep.
Vintage stores.
Vintage clothing stores for me.
Yeah. So.
And we collected it all. I had a collection of vintage 1950s bathing suits. And I mean, I wore some of them, but mostly you just kind of collect them and you hang on to them. And I don't know, maybe you bring them out every now and then to show
just
people.
look at them.
Yeah. And then I had vintage hats and you had vintage ties. And another thing you collected was posters, movie posters.
Yeah, I had old like Spanish movie posters from like the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
I had a whole like mess of them. And along with, I also have records.
Yeah, records. Your record collection was huge.
It was huge at one point.
Yeah.
It was a lot more than what I have currently. So we collected things and just like little knick-knack things that we thought were cool.
Yeah.
I thought looked cool and stuff that we wanted in our home and on shelves and it just accumulated over time. After we were married and we had our own home and it just we had a house filled with collections.
Yeah. I mean, we thought it was decor. Maybe.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, in some way it was decor. But there was a lot of things that we did collect that just sat in boxes put away in closets.
Yes, and we just bought it because either maybe it was on a good price, we found it at a flea market, and it looked cool. Thought it looked cool, and maybe I'll buy it and just keep it. But then nobody ever saw it because it was just in a box somewhere, and I never even knew. Maybe I forget about I even had it,
right.
And it would just sit in the garage or something in a box. So that's a little bit of backstory of the stuff that we had and what we would collect. But then, after we wanted to live this homestead life, we said we need to start getting rid of stuff, I think.
Because we can't take it all with us. Like at that point we didn't really know like where we were going to end up homesteading, but we were like, what if? What if we moved out of the country, or what if we moved a couple states away? Are we going to take all this stuff with us?
Or even we thought about living in a really tiny home, like 400, 300 square feet or something.
We were considering that.
Yeah, or even in a yurt.
Like, where's this stuff gonna go?
Yeah, so we thought, well, if we're gonna go do this life and possibly maybe living in a small home or maybe even an RV, like, we cannot take all this stuff with us. And so we need to start paring down if we're gonna really do this. And it's still, I think it was like a joke, kind of like slowly it was building up, like, oh, well, if we're gonna go live off the land somewhere, we're not gonna need all these posters that I collect.
Right. So then we started actively going around the house and just saying, well, I think we could get rid of this now. We've had it for a long time, and maybe it's just been in a box, and I think we could get rid of that. So it was just kind of like things that we saw and we knew we had. And then we just made the decision, like, okay, we'll either sell it or gift it to a friend or give it to Goodwill. It
was a slow process of it. That's how it started, of just like slowly baby steps of getting rid of our things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at that point it kind of just went in waves. Like, it's almost like when you start getting rid of stuff, it picks up momentum. At first, it seems like super slow and super like painful. It seems painful to get rid of stuff.
It was.
Yeah.
It seemed like it at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, at the very beginning, it seemed so painful. Like, oh my gosh, I can't get rid of this stuff.
Like, do you know how much this thing is worth on eBay? Or do you know how much I paid for this? Or
or like, look at this. Cool this is so cool. Yeah. Like. I love this thing, and so, it was painful. So that was like the beginning, but like, it's almost like the more you talk about it and the more you start doing it, it just kind of picks up momentum like speed. Yeah. And you're just like, you really get into it.
And also, we also had to have a goal in mind that we wanted way more than these things. Like, we wanted to homestead. We wanted that way more than the possessions that we had that were just taking up space in our house. And that was, it was hindering us from taking the next step into homesteading. And that was a block that we had to get over. And we knew that if once we got rid of these things, we could make it there. So we wanted homesteading more. So that was like a drive for us.
Yeah, it was almost like, well, what's the big picture here?
Yeah.
You know, what's our ultimate goal? Was to go find land and go live off the land as much as we can, grow our own food, like find more land somewhere, and just trying to live more minimally and intentionally. And so that was the ultimate goal, and that was the driving force of getting rid of our things.
Right. Or there's plan B. We can stay here and be buried in all of our stuff.
Right. And so like our stuff was going to prevent us from going to go live our dream.
Yeah. And so, okay, so what we're saying is it didn't happen all in one day. We didn't get rid of all of our things in one day or 1 hour. It was, like I said, or like you said, like it came in waves or in circles. So we would decide, okay, the posters have to go today. And then maybe, I don't know, a month later or a day later or whenever later, we made another choice to kind of look around again. Okay, fine. I don't need like 20 bathing suits from the 1950s. I think we could get rid of those, you know? And so like every day we made progress on this goal that we had to get over this stumbling block to get to our goal.
If we were to time it and to see how long it took us to get rid of stuff from the time we kind of started talking about homesteading to the time we actually left California, I think it was about 5 or 6 years from where we actually got to a point where like, okay, we got rid of enough stuff that we could maybe put into storage, or we were happy with the stuff that we had left over, that could help us as we make this move. But you know, how do you get rid of all this stuff? You know, I think you just have to look and see, like, does it matter?
Right.
Like, ultimately,
like,
does
it matter?
Does this stuff that we have matter?
Like if it was gone one day.
Like, am I gonna die if I don't have these Spanish movie posters from the 1930s? Is my life gonna end if these are out of my life right now?
Yeah.
like it could be like that dramatic of like, right. do I need to keep this stuff?
And also, is it serving a purpose as well? Like, is this going to help us in our future goal? Like, our future goal was to homestead. Whatever your future goal is, ask, is this, if I take this onto my next goal, you know, to the next place where I want to be, is it going to help us in any way? Yeah. Most of you know, I used to work in the fashion industry when I lived in California. I had boxes and boxes of clothes with the price tag still on them, just because, you know, I used to get clothes, and I had also my collection of vintage clothes. And one thing that we asked ourselves is like, I don't want to be the best dressed farmer out there, like in my high heels and my fancy wool coats. Like I don't want to be that. I kind of felt like that's not who I want to be. Like, we're going into this new lifestyle.
Or all those ties that I would wear, or like I had.
Yeah,
like
the vintage ties.
Like, am I gonna be wearing some ties while I go shovel compost?
Right. Or the 1940s rayon shirt that would look really cool.
Yeah.
We had some cool stuff. Yeah. But like, was it gonna help us in our next lifestyle that we're planning on living? Like, no, we're gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah. This 3-piece suit that I had, like, I kind of missed that suit, but no. No, but like, you know, these things we're not gonna wear like when we farm,
right?
Like when we're on the land, like this, we're not gonna, like, this is a totally different thing that we're gonna live.
Yeah.
A way of life. And so we're not going to need these things.
Now, is there anything that you got rid of that you do miss? Do you feel that out of all the stuff that we got rid of, you know, all of our stuff,
right?
Is there anything that you do say that nowadays? Like, gosh, I got rid of that and I should have hung on to it.
No.
No.
I don't think I even know what we got rid of, actually. Like specific things.
Right.
Like, I mean, some things, yeah.
Right.
But like everything, I couldn't even tell you.
We couldn't even remember all of the things. I mean, it's been 4 years since we've moved, but like, we couldn't tell you all of the things, specific things that we had in that home that just filled every room. Another good helpful tip, and this is along the same lines here, is put it in a box. You were saying that earlier. Put it in a box and seal the box and put it away in a room. And if you don't remember what's in that box, you need to get rid of that box.
Like 6 months later, go back to that box.
Yeah.
And see, like, did I really miss this thing?
Right. Did I need it?
Yeah. Like say if you're on the fence. If you're on the fence of like, I don't know if I should get rid of this thing. I really like this thing. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to get rid of it. What do I do with it? So yeah, put it in a box. Mm-hmm. Wait 6 months.
If you don't remember what's inside, then you're really in trouble.
Yeah. If you don't, if you don't remember, if you never missed it, maybe you don't know what's inside. Yeah. Maybe it's time to get rid of that box.
Right. We get some questions sometimes. What do I do with all of my things? Well, what we did with our things is we either, like, if it was valuable, we sold some things on eBay only because we wanted to get out of debt. So we had a few things that we wanted to pay off before we moved into the next journey, which was our homesteading journey. So if it was, you know, obviously a collectible or rare item, we sold it on eBay. But or if it was still in really good condition, we recommend gifting it to another family in need. Now, I know that I had several sets of pots and pans. I don't know why, but I did. And sets of dishes as well. And I remember we ended up gifting it to another family who had, this couple who had just started a family, and she needed some pots and pans. And it was a huge blessing to her to have like really nice pots and pans. And we only kept what we needed. And so you can sell it and to pay off some debt, or you can gift it to another family, or donate it to Goodwill.
Yeah, just give it away.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's also like Craigslist. There's a Facebook marketplace that you can put stuff on.
Yeah.
But yeah, give it to Google. Like, call your friends and say, hey, I'm getting rid of stuff. You know, if you want any of this stuff, I mean, that would be an easy way to go. So you don't have to take it anywhere, or you don't have to like put it online and figure out a price.
You have to ask yourself, is it worth my time to start listing it on these marketplaces?
Yeah.
Because I've had some friends tell me, oh, I'm trying to sell this or that on the Facebook marketplace, and they ask for so much money, but like, I feel like at some point, just give it away.
Yeah.
It's not worth your time.
Right.
And it's not worth haggling money over. Just gift it. Right. Like, I feel like that's the easiest one. And then, of course, if nobody wants it, then give it a good one.
Yeah.
Somebody will find it and repurpose it. But you know, I think gift it. I think that's a thing that I want to share also with hoarding too many possessions is you're keeping a lot for yourself, and in turn you're not really turning around and gifting it to other people, which I think is what we're supposed to do when you've been blessed with an abundance of things like pots and pans or sets of dishes, or maybe you own 5 coats and you don't really need 5 coats. You just need 1 coat that does all the jobs. Turn around and bless another family who would benefit from that.
I think the big thing is look at the big picture. Like, you have to want to get rid of stuff, first of all.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get rid of stuff, it's going to be, if you're fighting it, like, it's going to be very, very difficult to get rid of stuff. Like, you have to really want to do it. I really do think it can be addictive. like getting rid of stuff.
Oh, getting rid of stuff. Well, the other way too.
The other way too, yeah.
The other way too. But we did find that it was addicting, getting rid of stuff. So when we took a look around in our house and we saw, okay, well, maybe we can get rid of that. And then it started to become addicting for us. We would look around, what else can we get rid of? Especially when you're blessing another family. Like, oh, you really liked those pots and pans. What else do I have that you can that you want?
Yeah, it's a weird, like a mental thing.
It's almost like a mental relief. Like you just kind of feel like a huge weight has been lifted off of your shoulders. It's a real feeling when you get rid of things. I owned a lot of clothes when I lived in California. A lot of clothes. And you know what was funny? I never had a thing to wear. Every time we had to go somewhere, I would be like, oh, I have nothing to wear, which was something I always said. But then when we downsized, I got rid of a lot of clothes. Like I kept stuff. The stuff I had in California was a lot of dry cleanable clothes. It was just designer clothing, and I also had vintage clothes too. But most of it was dry clean only. And I knew coming here, we wanted to live a very simple lifestyle. I just wanted like cottons and like thrift store clothes where I could just throw them in the washer, and if it got beat up in the garden, I could just use it as a rag later or whatever. But now that I own less pieces of clothing, I never have that problem of, oh, I have nothing to wear. Like, this is all I have to wear. Like maybe a few dresses and maybe like maybe 2 or 3 pairs of jeans. That's all I have. So I can't say, oh, I have nothing to wear, because I don't know. It's just like a mentality. I mean, even though really I have nothing to wear, but I never catch myself saying that now. Like, oh, I have nothing to wear. I mean, unless we get invited to like a wedding or something, which we haven't yet, but
right.
But then I would really have nothing to wear. But like, it's a weird, it's weird.
You have less stuff
to choose from. I have less options.
There you
I think
go.
that's the thing. I kind of like that. I don't have any.
You don't have too many options.
Yeah.
And then your mind just goes like nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the quotes that I hung on to during that time period when we were like getting rid of massive amounts of possessions was this quote that I read. I don't know who said the quote, but it says, "Possessions don't make you rich, they make you possessive." And I thought that was so true, because here we were sitting in this large home and we had all these things that surrounded us, and we didn't feel rich. And honestly, moving here with like hardly anything. I remember we had when we first moved in, and we really had nothing. And when we were able to buy our washer and dryer. We had been without for a little while when we moved here. I was so thankful, like incredibly thankful that we had this washer and dryer. And I hadn't felt that, this overwhelming sense of gratitude and just like overwhelming thankfulness that like, I am so thankful for this. And I think that's a wonderful place to be. And I think almost that's where like God wants us to be, is like, wow, thank you for this. But like when you're surrounded with so many things, it's kind of hard to be really thankful for just like a small cup of tea, because you're just, it's just like you're consumed, with, you're just crowded. I kind of feel like when you're physically crowded, you're also mentally crowded. And when we found that we came here and we live with less, we're able to see a little bit clearer when we have something nice, as simple as a cup of tea or a brand new washer and dryer, which I know anybody would be thankful for, but or something as simple as like,
well, when we first moved here, we got rid of our mattress.
Yes.
We got rid of our bed, like bed frame, like everything. And so when we moved here, all we had was a blow-up mattress.
We slept on that for a very long time.
I think it was almost a year that we slept on a blow-up mattress.
Yeah.
And so when we finally broke down and bought a mattress,
I think it was a gift.
It was a gift.
It was a gift.
It was a gift. Okay. So we never even did that, but and we might still be on that blow-up mattress. No, but like just a mattress, like just a bed.
I was so blown away. Like
That's
it was
crazy.
it was my birthday present. That's why I remembered it was a gift.
Okay.
Because it was my birthday present from your mom. And I just remember being incredibly thankful to sleep on a real mattress. Like
Yes.
like little things, like, you know, little things.
Yeah, things that we would probably take for granted.
Right. Having a house filled with things that these are ours. We just expect that they're ours, but then coming here and not having for a while, and then you get that little thing and you're like, wow, I'm really thankful for that.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think we need to keep in mind, though, getting rid of stuff is a never-ending cycle.
It is.
Never ending. Like, you will always, sometimes you accumulate, like when we still have this issue, like, you know, maybe sometimes we accumulate some stuff like over the years since we've been here, and we need to go back to that. We need to reassess it, and that's what we're doing now with our office, is we're reassessing the stuff that we accumulated in the last 4 years that we have in our office, and do we really need this stuff?
Maybe we haven't used it. If we haven't used it, then it's time to get rid of it.
Yeah, and it's never ending. And that's the thing, like, it's not like you get rid of stuff and you're like, okay, I did that, we're good.
No, it's not a one-time thing. It's a constant cycle.
Everyday choices, too.
Everyday choices. What are we going to bring into this house? We're very careful about that. That's like a whole nother topic, maybe another podcast series on living minimalistically in a smaller home. Like, we have to be very careful what we bring into our house or what we accept from people as gifts, because we don't have room for it. But yeah, like, it's a cycle to go through your things. Take an inventory of your things and hold it in your hands and ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this serving a purpose?
Does it make me happy?
Does it make me happy? I mean, most people will say, yes, it does make me happy. I like looking at this. So that also, really quick, I know we want to end this podcast for time's sake, but I do want to point out a lot of questions that we get is, what about memorabilia, like, not memorabilia, but like memories, such as like photographs or things that
been passed down to you,
maybe. So I want to say what we did with photos is when we first started trying to pack them up for moving, we put them in they were still in their picture frames, and we wrapped them in newspaper and we put them in boxes, but that really took up a lot of space, and we're talking about, we don't have a lot of space here. So what we found, what worked for us, was we took them out of the frames, because those can be replaced. So you'll want to take your things that cannot be replaced, like photographs, and then we put them into plastic storage containers, and that's where they sit. That's the best solution we have for what, you know, for photographs. So they're just in like a plastic storage container with a lid and an airtight lid, and they're just in our office.
Yeah, I mean, but nowadays, those were the olden times.
Right. Oh, right.
But nowadays, no one prints out their photos.
Right.
You know, like, they have them on their phone or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit more easier, but yeah, it's just like the older photos.
Right,
and then,
the older photos.
Yeah.
That's what we mean.
And then, you know, if you have stuff that's been passed down to you and it really is just something you cherish, and like, don't get rid of it.
Right, exactly.
You know, like don't get rid of that. Like, you know, if it means a lot to you, like, yeah, of course, keep it.
Find a home for it, though. That's important. Find a home for it.
Don't just put it in a box and put it away.
Yeah.
And forget about it.
Right.
Like, I think it's important to not do that.
Right.
You know, put it in your home, put it on a shelf, whatever it is, and find a home for it.
So that's what we did as a family, to downsize and move into such a smaller space, into our homesteading lifestyle and journey. And like we said, it was just basically repeating in waves or in circles and asking ourselves, do we really need this? And what do we do with it? Can we bless another family? Can we turn it around and sell it and help get out of debt or pay off some bills? And that's how we did it.
Yeah, and it's just everyday choices that we make on how to keep at it and keep doing it. But I think that's the end of this podcast.
We want to thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, and watching us on YouTube. Again, you could listen to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, all the podcast apps, and we also have been putting it on our Sow the Land YouTube channel. But we appreciate you guys listening
and watching,
and we'll see you guys next time.